there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, a little bit of strategy tips, a little bit of a shout out type of video to Johnny Boy, let's call him Johnny. I make funny jokes about Jimmy's working in Kabam, but we will have a Johnny on YouTube now. So John has made a very nice kind of like a guide summary video about what he thinks is by far the easiest way how to get to zone 25 in incursions, and the base idea there is fairly straightforward. Obviously it still does revolve around Hercules, and there is just no way around that. Let's face it, for incursions pushes, Hercules is by far the most effective one. That's just a fact. You can probably, use a 5-star, probably will be a bit more costly, but Hercules with his immortality, with his synergy with hacks and gallants, pre-fights and everything else, can save a ton of units. Obviously, there are other options for late zones. Thing can do a ton of work. Aegon is very valuable. And then we have Angela. Null plus Green Goblin, let's say, can work extremely well with gallants, pre-fights on both of them, and having that immortality to work there with. There are options. But ultimately, when it comes to the easiest way to do it, potentially that's the one. As I said, I personally use Thing for later rooms, and I do find Thing to be extremely helpful as well. But his idea effectively, and I'm not going to go over all of that video and that strategy, is to use OG Thor as a synergy piece together with Heimdall and Hercules, because he synergizes with both of them. And that the main reason why I actually decided to cover this, because in its essence it's not anything completely new. Obviously, everybody uses Hercules, many people use Heimdall with Hercules, but the reason why I did like to pick this OG Thor, because of the two synergies, right? And the synergies that OG Thor has with Hercules is the perfect block under 5%, and then Heimdall you can heal up to like 15 or 20% of your missing health. And in reality, at the first glance, I thought it's like, yeah, I'd still rather have Thing. I did watch through his video. He had some solid arguments for it, but then it kind of dawned on me why this is actually helpful for a very large group of players, and why I would recommend this strategy for every single player that does not run Liquid Courage Double Edge. That's kind of fairly straightforward there. I'd still, if possible, put on the Gallants and Odin's pre-fights, because of that unblockable specials and a block if opponent evades. It's kind of neat and helpful anyhow. Plus, Hercules can become completely bleed resistant with all of those pre-fights, and you have some shock resistance and extra buffs for buff cornucopia or some other hacks. But this is, I think, the most sustainable way how you can run Hercules without Liquid Courage Double Edge, because that was kind of half of the allure there, that if you amp up Hercules, Gallants pre-fights, he regens a ton from your Double Edge and Liquid Courage debuffs, easily enough to offset recoil damage, quite frequently enough to kind of like heal you significant amount every single fight. Obviously, Heimdall's there to give you that extra safety net and protection. But here, that OG Thor works kind of like a double shift. Number one, whenever you are below 5% health or at low health, you will have 100% perfect block chance, which will give you longer stuns, and obviously, give you a perfect block, so you will not trigger your immortality early. Therefore, when you do mess up, when you do miss your parry, or that parry fails, or when you do just get caught by, trying to bait a special attack or something, then that immortality will trigger, and you would have bigger reach for all of the Hercules fights. And then on top of it, obviously, having Heimdall and Hercules synergy there as well could let you bump your health up for the following fights. And I do believe that overall improvement for all players not running Recoil with this team would be quite significant. Again, I would still put on the Odin pre-fights, the Gallant pre-fights, just, for reasons. But then, yeah, this kind of makes sense. If I am running Liquid Courage Double Edge, and if I do have a SIG 200 Thing to use, I'd still probably use the Thing. But again, SIG 200 Thing, not everybody has it, not everybody can get it on a moment's notice. And this does make sense. And that's kind of like one of the weaknesses that I have noticed in my own runs at times, and especially in other people's runs. When if you have Hercules, you're trying to make other champions work, and then half the time you get KO'd, you finish the fight with Hercules, and you end up reviving that champion for whatever reason. It's just the best to stick with Hercules if those fights are remotely doable. Obviously, it's still incursions. Obviously, it's still unpredictable. You never know exactly what's going to happen, what kind of node combinations you're going to get. You might need to swap in and out champions, but in this case as well, running 2 synergy champions kind of lets you be more flexible with it, because you can swap out your, let's say, 6-star unranked OG Thor, bring in something else, and then swap them back the next room. If you, for instance, need, I don't know, a Dr. Doom for a fight. Swap out OG Thor, bring in Dr. Doom, and then in the next room, take the Doom out, bring in 5-star OG Thor. Take it out, bring in 4-star OG Thor. Because both of these synergies are tied to the 6-star champions, not OG Thor itself. It doesn't really matter. You can use 2-star OG Thor, so you can do it like 6 or 7 times. And it does leave you quite a bit of room for wiggling out the OG Thor if and when you need it. So ultimately, that's why I decided to showcase the strategy and John as a content creator, because it is ultimately a worthwhile thought, even if I do not necessarily agree with all of it for everybody. But I do think it's worth noting. Therefore, definitely do check out his channel. He has started uploading relatively recently. He has only 131 subscribers, so it would be awesome if we can like double it or triple it with that, because from the videos that I saw, he's definitely putting in quite a bit of effort, and that is kind of like one of those things. I always get people messaging me, you know, asking for shoutouts or something like that, but half the time people don't really bother making their own thumbnails properly, and you know, that immediately tells me a lot that, you know, if you're not interested in your own videos enough to make a thumbnail for a video, then, you know, I'm probably not going to be interested in watching those videos or promoting them. And then obviously, you know, there's still the webcam, there's still the voiceovers, which also is always a kind of like a big thing to me, if people are willing to put themselves on the forefront and inject their own personality in the videos. And then ultimately the content itself, whether the players are, you know, doing a good job showcasing the champions or playing well enough. And in John's case, yeah, I quite like what I see. So I do think he's worth, so to speak, shouting out. Or at the very least, I think the work that he's putting out is worth shouting out, and I wish him all the best. So I do hope to see him around the Marvel Contest of Champions YouTube around more and more, and for sure go check him out, and hopefully you also check out that specific easiest way to get into the Legends title with the Incursions video, and leave some feedback to him. And ultimately, the most important point is hopefully this video has been helpful to you guys. That being said, I'm going to catch you guys later. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the